Just like Michelangelo into the blue on heavenly wings. Cargo ham bones don't take off, no smoke, no mirror, no strings. I can't take off these dark shades. I can only say how it's too beautiful. Our town on TV. Our town, there's you and me. Upside down, hanging out of an airplane.
That same General Logan became commander-in-chief after the war was over, and he issued this order on May 5th, 1868. It says the 30th day of May in 1868 is designated for the purpose of strewing flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observance, no form of ceremony is prescribed, but posts like ours and comrades like all of us will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonials of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. We can aid no more to assure this result in cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foes. Their soldier lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths the tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the consecrated wealth and taste of a nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice and neglect, no ravages of time, testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. There's more to this somewhere. Well, we'll end it right there. I think the wind took the rest of it, but you get the idea. General Logan was that person who wrote taps, and he became the commander-in-chief, and of course, that was the impetus for Memorial Day. So we welcome you on behalf of General Logan and all of our comrades. So now I'd like to invite State Representative Jim Kelkos. I called him State Senator the other day, and he appreciated the.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Lord Mayor. And thank you to all of our public officials that are here today. And most of all, to all of you for the privilege and honor of serving you in the State House. Memorial Day this year brings an especially new meaning to me, as recently as about a month and a half ago, I lost one of my family members who's serving in the Army 5 years previous to that in the Marine Corps in an Apache helicopter crash. So when I woke up this morning, I remind my two little boys, both 6.5 and 9, when they're enjoying their video games and their time not getting ready for school, as they typically do on a weekday morning, to remember those who have served our country and who have given us the privilege and the ability to live in such a wonderful country, the United States. Speaking of wonderful countries, my mother is from the United Kingdom, from Scotland. She came here on October 17th. And as I indicated yesterday, I have family living not too far south from Amesbury, England, in a town called Southampton, England. My granduncle and grand aunt. So I have here today a flag from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for you to both take home, and maybe you can fly it high enough so they can see you down in Southampton, Mr. Lord Mayor. I'd love to give you this Commonwealth of Massachusetts flag straight from Beacon Hill as a token of our appreciation for you coming here and visiting with us. It's been just such a wonderful visit, and we love having you, and we want to have you back many more times. Again, I appreciate the ability to serve you in the State House, and I want to wish all of you a very wonderful, safe, and happy Memorial Day. Thank you very much, and thank you to our veterans here today as well. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Mayor Gray to come up.
Fingers are frozen here, So on behalf of the City of Amesbury, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to today's celebration for Memorial Day. And what I'd like to do is introduce some of our city councilors that are here. If you'd like to raise your hands as I introduce you. Steve Stanganelli, Nick Wheeler, Matt Einton, Pam Gilday, and Rick Margraf. And as we gather today amongst family and friends, let us all remember the true meaning of today's holiday, to honor and remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. And that freedom does not come free. Defense of our freedom comes with a price. One of my favorite quotes is one from President Ronald Reagan, who said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We don't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. For one day, we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like to live in the United States where men were free." So if you have some time today, by the way, I strongly encourage you to go over to West Winkley Street and experience the Field of Remembrance. It's a moving visual experience by, in fact, Ellen Mesner-Rogers is here, but she has been the inspiration and has assembled this for us. And it honors those who gave their lives in our wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. You know, you can almost see the wind as the thousands of banners with the names of fallen heroes move in the breeze. It's a wonderful experience. And today I also have the distinct pleasure to introduce once again the mayor and former mayor of Amesbury, England, who have come over for our 350th anniversary. They are Patty and Richard Allen. Come on up, by the way. Fitting on this day, due to our closeness of the ties between our countries, we fought in many wars and conflicts together, and our ancestors and our brothers and our sisters and aunts and uncles and family members have fought and died together. So welcome to Amesbury today on this special day. So what I'd like to do is turn it over to you, Richard. I know you have a few words to say. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to wish you a very happy Memorial Day from Amesbury, England. And congratulations to that wonderful band. It's incredible. They sounded really professional. Thank you. As an ex-serviceman myself, I appreciate very much the opportunity to share in your prestigious and very impressive event today. American soldiers are no stranger to me, not in fact from when I was in the Royal Air Force, but as a civilian teaching in France in the early 1960s. It so happened that right next to the town of Chinon, where I was a huge American Army base. and I was on the joint Franco-American Sports Committee that used to meet at the Rochambeau, just up the road. During the Cold War, there were 10,000 American soldiers rapidly deployed there in readiness for when Russia again sealed off Berlin to the Western Allies. Back to the present day, Amesbury is on the very edge of Salisbury Plain military training area, which houses one of the largest concentrations of soldiers in Great Britain. In just over a year, our troops in Germany will be rebased just up the road from us. The number includes 2,500 single young men, and local pubs and girls are said to be very pleased. Next to where Paddy and I live is what used to be RAF Boscombe Down, Royal Air Force Boscombe Down. It's now run by the Ministry of Defence, and this airfield was where American pilots were trained at the start of the First World War, and where present-day Boeing has established a significant presence. Thousands of American soldiers were in transit here or trained here during both World Wars. Military connections are therefore very strong. Thank you again for including us, and God bless Amesbury, Massachusetts, and God bless America. Thank you.
And now we'll have some patriotic music presented by the Amesbury High School Band.
Okay, roll up to number one. Roll up to number one. Maybe one first. Roll up. 1, 2, 3.
Mike Gormley. Mike Gormley is a past commander of our post. He's also a retired officer from the national headquarters of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and he's also a former assistant principal at the middle school. Please welcome Mike Gormley.
Good morning. I'm actually a former history teacher, so I want to bring something of perspective to you today. This is the 100th anniversary of World War I. You also need to understand that the Yankee Division, which is the Massachusetts National Guard, was very instrumental in that war. And Massachusetts was the birthplace of the National Guard. It's also the 150th anniversary of Memorial Day today. And coupled with it, the most important is 350th anniversary of Amesbury. So all that is history. And all across the United States and overseas, where there are veterans and military, Memorial Day is being held to remember those who passed away but served in the military. But at the same time, there are living veterans who have come back from the military and still are serving their community. Sometimes we call them favorite sons and favorite daughters. And today we have a favorite son of Amesbury, Marine Corps Sergeant Greg Iwarski, as our Memorial Day speaker. And he comes from a family, he grew up here, he went to school. His father, Ski, who's in front now, served in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, came back here, and for over 30 years, served his community in the post office. But at the same time, he became an excellent veterans advocate for this community. You also have his mother, Karen, who taught school for over 30 years and prepared hundreds and hundreds of young people for the future. Some of you had her in school. She's sitting right there. So Craig grew up in a great family, but he was his own person, and after he graduated from Amesbury High School, he joined the Marines, trained, did well as a leader, and was promoted as a sergeant. In the latter part of 2004 and 2005, he went to Iraq, and he led Marines in over 100 military missions. Really tough missions, hard to describe, and that's his story. His unit was also recognized for capturing a high-valued Iraq military commander. Very serious. And for that, he was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with the Combat Distinguished Device, something that's not just given freely. But he didn't stop there. Greg came back, and he became a police officer. He's a police officer in New Hampshire, but I have to be proud to tell you he's a school resource officer. So he has changed the lives of those young people in Wyndham, New Hampshire High School. So please join me in welcoming our favorite son and our 2018 Memorial Day speaker, Marine Corps Sergeant Greg Iwarski.
Bye. I was told to be on my best behavior or my mom's going to spank me later. Good morning. Thank you all for attending today's ceremony, honoring our fallen service members who sacrificed everything so we could live in a free nation. I'd like to thank the Amesbury Police Department, the Amesbury Fire Department, the Amesbury High School Band, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, our special guests, and the Mayor of Amesbury, England, Lord Mayor Richard Allen, for attending today. And to all of our veterans, please stand. Thank you for everything you have sacrificed and accomplished to ensure that our great nation remains free. It is an honor to speak on your behalf. Today we take a moment to remember our brothers and sisters who lost their lives in the line of duty. From the beaches of World War II, to the frigid cold landscape of Korea, to the steamy jungles of Vietnam, the deserts and mountains of Iraq and Afghanistan, and all the other wars and conflicts throughout American history. Without the selfless sacrifices of these men and women, we would not be the nation we are today. War is indescribable. Living through months of filth, with little sleep, little contact with family back home, and death all around. Through all of this, a bond is created, deeper than anyone who has never been will never understand. These people you serve with become closer to you than your own family, and the loss of a brother affects you for the rest of your life. Joe Galloway, a journalist who was at the Battle of Idrang Valley during the Vietnam War, wrote, "We who have seen war never stop seeing it. In the silence of the night, we will forever hear the screams. So this is our story, for we were soldiers once and young." On December 3rd, 2004, I was deployed to Al Anbar Province, Iraq, Forward Observation Base Treville on the Jordan-Syrian border with Sierra Battery 510. It was a picture-perfect day. Well, as picture-perfect as a third-world dirty desert could be. My squad had just returned from a 6-hour patrol and were making improvements on the defensive positions at the back gate before rotating over to camp guard for the night. I was now sergeant of the guard in the command post when out of nowhere rifle fire erupted from the back gate. As I ran to see the cause of the rifle fire, a massive explosion knocked me to the ground. I got back up, and as I continued towards the back gate, the screams began to ring out. "Corpsman up! Doc, get over here!" Night had fallen upon us, and the moon only provided a faint light, making it difficult to see. When I got to the back gate, one of my guys was laying on the ground, with 3 other Marines surrounding him, providing medical treatment. There were others injured, but I could not see who they were or the extent of their injuries. I made my way back to the command post to call for a medevac. The helicopter would take over 30 minutes to get to us. After I ensured we had a medevac on its way, I went back outside to the courtyard where the injured were brought. It was my worst nightmare. 5 of my guys were critically wounded. 2 of my guys, Corporal Ben Lee and my best friend, Corporal Matthew Wyatt, lay mortally wounded. The corpsman did the best that he could, but there was nothing he could do for them. Later, speaking with my guys who witnessed the event, I learned that a water truck, much like the trucks that deliver oil here, was waiting approximately 100 yards from the rear gate. They attempted to contact me on the radio, but typical military equipment, it didn't work. The driver of the truck hit the gas heading towards the fob. Corporal Matthew Wyatt and Corporal Ben Lee grabbed their rifles, shooting the driver. Most people would have taken cover, but not them. They stood their ground and ensured the truck would not enter the fob. They chose to sacrifice their lives for ours. Because of their courageous actions, the truck blew up prior to penetrating the fob. The truck carried over 1,000 pounds of explosives and would have killed many more if it had entered the base. Their decision that day saved lives. For their heroic actions, they both received the Bronze Star. This is just one of thousands of examples of military members sacrificing their lives to protect their brothers. Because of their heroic actions, I, along with the rest of my men, were able to come home to our family and friends. I think about them every day, and I wonder how I can honor their sacrifice. The best way I know how is to never forget. Never forget them or the many other men and women who have died protecting this great nation. I honor them by living for them. For many years, that was a hard thing to do. But I also know that was what they would want. I honor them by trying to live the fullest life I can, by being a good police officer in my community, a good son to my parents, a good brother, uncle, friend, and husband to my amazing wife. This October, I will become a father for the first time and cannot wait to meet my son and experience that bond. I know and appreciate that I will have the opportunity to be a good father because of Matt and Ben. They believed their brothers' lives were important enough to sacrifice their own. I am forever grateful to them and the thousands of others like them who have made the ultimate sacrifice. I ask you to please keep all of our fallen military members in mind today, along with their family. And I challenge you to remember them and honor them by waking up every day and striving to be the best person you can be. They chose to go where others fear to go. They have done what others fear to do. And without their sacrifice, many of us would not be here today. For that, we will never forget and will remain eternally grateful. We will see each other again someday, just not today. Thank you.
You weren't moved by that. I'd like to introduce Colonel Roberts. He doesn't like to be called Colonel anymore.
We also have the honor of having representation from the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We have Troop 4 and Troop 7 from the Boy Scouts and their honor guard with them, so give them a round of applause. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, that everyone likes to see someone in a uniform, so keep them on. Oops. We have a very special honor today. Multiple certificates of people who have served our community and continue to keep us safe. And we want to recognize them, some with some certificates of appreciation. First, I'd like to call up a representative from Cashman Elementary School. Someone here from the school, the principal of the school. A teacher from Cashman. A student from Cashman. Anyone from Cashman. A parent from Cashman. Come on down. I wonder who he is. Every Veterans Day, since I've been in our community, we have, from Cashman Elementary School, they put on a special celebration to honor veterans presented by their student council in 4th grade. And it's such a moving tribute to veterans and a statement from our community of how much we're appreciated and how they pass on the word, the history of our service and those who have served. So I really want to present the certificate to Cashman Elementary School as an expression of our sincere appreciation and full praise for the services that they continue to render to our community. And representing Cashman School are these two people right here. Go. Come on up.
What's your name, young lady?
Martin.
Hi, grade are you in?
Second.
Second grade. Do you like your school?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like your teacher?
Yes.
Yeah, we paid her to say that. Okay, and Peter Hoyt, former principal of the school, and talk about someone who serves our community. We thank you and your wife for all the service you've done. So if you would, you come here. So we present the certificate of appreciation to Casperton Elementary School and for all they have continued to do for veterans, and thank them so much, and part of our education, excellent education program here in Amesbury. Thank you. There are others that serve and protect us as our military does overseas, but they really protect us here in our community. And I'd like to recognize, just in alphabetical order, not significance of importance, first of all, the chief of our Amesbury Fire Department and his staff, if they have someone come forward. These people serve us every day and night. They provide our honor guard on a regular basis. They prepare, they train, and they also put their lives on the line when in their service of duty. So much like our military has done worldwide and in the past. So in special recognition and highest praise for alertness, personal courage, and ever-efficient guardianship of life and property, we present from the Veterans of Foreign Wars a certificate of appreciation to the Amesbury Fire Department. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. As well as our daily protection from fire, we also have our protection on our roads and to help maintain civil order in our city. And so we'd like to call forward the chief of our police department, Chief Schultz. Hey, sir. Good to see you. Every time, the hard part with these guys for military is this one's got all these stripes with red, and this one's got 4 stars on him. It's kind of like, whoa, that's a general, you know. For the police department, again, a certificate in grateful recognition of unyielding adherence to the highest ideals of law enforcement in maintaining, preserving, and protecting the lawful rights of all citizens, particularly those here in Amesbury, Massachusetts. We are so grateful and so thankful to your service, and welcome on board as our new chief. You've already heard her name mentioned, but there is a visual, as the mayor said, a visual way to connect with those who have given their lives for us in a field of honor. And I'd like to call forward Ellen Messner-Rogers, who had the inspiration and is the champion of this particular Memorial Day event on a regular basis. Ellen, I know you'd like to say a couple of words to us.
Thank you very much. My Memorial Day art project, Remembering Our Fallen, honors our servicemen and women who have lost their lives in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The artwork displays nearly 7,000 names, each handwritten in red on white banners, giving us one way to see the human cost of war. I hope my volunteers and donors are here because they are also recipients of this award. I could not have done this project without them. I invite you all to come see Remembering Our Fallen, located at 8 West Winkley Street. At 12:30 today, Roger Deshane will read his poem, Unreconciled, which is a deeply personal look at war. The reading and the artwork are free and open to the public. Thank you again for this award.
Again, the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, awards this citation to Eleanor Messner Rogers, sorry about the wind, as an expression of sincere appreciation and full praise for services rendered to this community. Thank you so much. Thank you. For the man who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance of the United States, Richard F. O'Donnell. Thank you. Tell us where you served.
I served in the Pacific hospital ship,
Pacific Hospital Ship, and your job?
medical technician.
Medical technician. Did you see any battle anywhere? No battle. That's why you're here in '67.
I'm one of the lucky ones.
You are. But you served many who were not so lucky on the ship.
That's right.
Well, we thank you so much for all these years. We're going to give you a certificate. It's not a certificate of appreciation. It's an award of commendation. In the military, one of the highest awards, of course, is the Medal of Honor among the VFW. This award of commendation is one of the highest awards that we can give in recognition here on a local level. We're also going to give Dick a patch to put on his hat and a pin to wear that says 65 years on it, serving the VFW, even though he's been part of it for 68 years. They only have them every 5 years, so we're going to have him back in about 2 years to do the 70th, to get the 70th patch in the process. So from the Richard F. O'Brien Post 2016, Veterans of Foreign Wars, we present to you an award of commendation to Richard F. O'Donnell for meritorious and distinguished service in the furthering the aims and ideals of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. In witness wherefore, we have hereunto set our hand and official seal for the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this day, 28th of May, 2018, Commander Don Roberts and Post Adjutant Harry Cross. May we show our appreciation to this man who served us criminally.
If you please, at this time, I'd like to recognize my wife Edith, who is standing down on the left-hand side. If I deserve an award, she deserves the award for keeping me here. Thank you very much.
I think if truth be told, Dick is probably looking for his 80th year pin too. I just did the math quickly, so they've been married 67 years. He's been a member of the VFW 68 years. So I wonder where they met. Anyway, if I could please, are there any active duty or persons serving in the National Guard that are currently with us? Would you please stand to be recognized? Hearing none, would all military members, veterans, please rise and be recognized? Thank you very much for your service. Would you all please rise for the closing ceremony? Please remain standing for the closing prayer.
And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you and give you peace. Amen.
That concludes our ceremony. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Just like Michelangelo into the blue on heavenly wings. Cargo ham bones don't take off, no smoke, no mirror, no strings. I can't take off these dark shades. I can only say how it's too beautiful. Our town on TV. Our town, there's you and me. Upside down, hanging out of an airplane. I remember when the new Constellation went transcontinental. It was oh so experimental. I took a ride in a Goonie bug. And when the pilot waves from his little window up high, I turn back into a child. I wanna touch his gold stripes and wear his hat. I say, hey Captain, you're where it's at. So high flying angel, take your time. High flying angel, take your time. High flying angel, take your time. Come back to me.